What's up everyone, welcome back to One Strange Adventure and welcome to the next video. And in today's video we're going to talk about traveling out west.
In particular, we're going to talk about our favorite stops over the last couple of years that we've done out west.
Yeah, last year we went over 20,000 miles in the year and we found some amazing places to stop, and we're going to share 8 of them with you today. So if you're going from east to west, or you're out west already and you've already been there, you're looking for additional places to add to your itinerary, I think this video will help you out.
Yeah, considering the fact that we were like out there and then we completely changed our route up at the last minute and added more things to it, like that's just what we do. So if you're like us, hopefully this will help you.
Yeah, we're going to start by heading out west in the north, and then we're going to kind of work our way down. You can do it in either direction, but
or zigzag.
Yep, these places were amazing and we definitely will be going back.
Yes.
All right, so our first stop along the way is South Dakota. Mount Rushmore was amazing, especially the first time seeing it. Make sure you go see it during the day and at nighttime, because it's really pretty.
Do not miss the nighttime, because 1, they light up, but 2, the flags that are lining the walkway are also lit, and so it's really cool to see.
In that area, there's the Black Hills. Also, the Badlands isn't far from there, so if you're looking for an amazing place to go boondocking, check out the Badlands.
Yep, and outside of the Badlands area, there's also a Love's travel stop that does RV park camping. We had that on our list to do this past year, and then ended up canceling it because we wanted to go back to Colorado, so we ended up changing our route up a little bit. But we did stay just outside of Wind Cave National Park, so if you're like me and love to see national parks and get your stamp, we got to see Wind Cave and Mount Rushmore to get our stamps that year.
And fluffy cows.
You always have to have fluffy cows.
It's a great place if you're already up that way and you're heading west. Make sure you go through South Dakota, because it was beautiful.
It's a great area, and actually Nicholas will tell you that it's one of the things that he wasn't expecting to love so much.
Right.
So he wants to go back there as well.
Now there's some cons to that area. It can be really crowded in the summertime. Just make sure you're planning accordingly. Also, I think in early spring you can get snow, but there's also a lot of hailstorms.
And not only are they hailstorms, but they said that it's like softball size hail when they do get it. Just
make sure you plan accordingly. Look up the weather patterns, things like that, and be careful while you're traveling out there. Our next stop on this tour of the Midwest is Cody, Wyoming.
Now, I will tell you that Cody, Wyoming, we got to stay for a week, and it was not long enough.
Nope.
So if you're in that area and you like the things that we like, make sure you plan a bit longer. Or if you don't have a job and can do everything every single day, then a week's probably plenty. But for us, we were working, so it definitely wasn't long enough. I
would go out there and spend more time trying to find the wild horses. There's such a large amount of land to cover, and there's a limited amount of horses, so the chances aren't very good, so you need to spend more time out there.
Yeah, and there's like so many different spaces that you can go on the map and just wait all day long for them to show up, and they might come by, but then you also might have days where you don't see anything. And so I would like to go spend like a month out there so I can go actually see the wild horses. But there's also the entrance to Yellowstone is on that side.
The eastern side of Yellowstone.
Eastern side of Yellowstone. So we did a day trip into Yellowstone from Cody, Wyoming, which was amazing views, a great route. Plenty of camping along that route as well.
We saw bighorns.
Bighorn sheep.
We saw eagles, we saw bears.
We saw grizzlies.
Yeah, we did. That was the one time we got to see grizzlies up close, which was really cool.
And then there's also the lake is that way and everything, so it's just plenty of things to do.
Now, while you're exploring Cody, Wyoming, there are some little shops and there are some restaurants, but one of the big kind of main attractions is the Buffalo Bill Museum.
Yes, and when you pay for the museum, you actually get it for 2 days because it's massive.
There's like multiple museums inside that one, so definitely take the time to walk around and maybe go find some lunch and stuff and come back. Stop number 3 along this journey would be Yellowstone National Park, and you need time. The place is massive.
You definitely need time, and there is multiple entrances to the Yellowstone National Park, but then you also have the Yellowstone National Ecosystem.
Yeah.
Take the time to go find the animals. Take the time to go fishing if you like to fish. Like drive the scenic drives and the Beartooth Highway and like all of that is right there at the Yellowstone National Park.
Yep. And then of course there's the touristy things of Yellowstone too. Old Faithful, the Grand Prismatic. Pools. Yeah. It's all beautiful. Check out like the valleys.
There's Hayden Valley and Lamar Valley.
Yellowstone is made up of like this huge figure 8. And you're looking at a map and you're like, oh, I can do it. Well, we drove like 6 hours and covered like half of one of the loops. So it takes some time to get around.
Well, it's different because if you drive it and there's nothing stopping you, then you're bored because there's nothing to see. But then you go and there's like a bison jam for an hour and a half and you can't go anywhere because the road's blocked. Yeah. So like it can go both ways. You can see nothing and you can see a lot. But it is a huge park. And with that being said, you need multiple days to take it in, and we had a friend that went for a week and it definitely wasn't long enough. We ended up we stayed for 2 weeks in western Yellowstone, and then we went to Cody and stayed for another week.
Right.
And I still feel like it wasn't
nearly enough.
So I could probably spend like a year there and not take in enough. So
yep. After you're done in Yellowstone, you're going to hit my personal favorite, which was the Grand Tetons National Park.
So that's number 4 on our list.
Yeah, if you are going to go to Yellowstone, just go ahead and plan to go to Tetons because the views are amazing. Absolutely beautiful.
And you can get to the Tetons from Yellowstone, so you don't even have to like take the main route all the way around. You can actually cut through the national park.
Yep, we drove our rig straight up through the Tetons. Well, not through the pass or anything, but through Teton National Park, through Yellowstone National Park to West Yellowstone.
Yep, and so it's definitely doable with our rig, and so if you have a rig that's similar in size or smaller, you will have no problems. We stayed outside the national park and stayed out in Du Bois, Wyoming. And so we drove into the park every day, and so that was like about an hour drive.
Close to an hour drive.
And so that was when we decided to get Mini Dishy to help us with the internet when we were going into Yellowstone, so that we could actually like enjoy the park and take that drive and not have to worry about the internet. So
yeah, if we were going to go out there again, I think we're going to stay in Jackson, which is right there south of the Grand Teton National Park.
Yeah.
So I think the next time we go out there, we're going to stay there, take a look and see if there's anything out there that you would like. You can't beat the views of Grand Tetons. However, there is very limited dining and like restaurants and things like that out there, so you just got to plan accordingly, but it's worth it.
Yeah. They also have grizzly bears, black bears, elk, and moose. And so going to find those was the highlight of my part of the trip.
Fluffy cows.
Oh yeah, and bison. I know we just threw out Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons and put a lot of information out there for you. If you're interested in doing a photo tour like I was able to go on, I will put the person or the people, the information in the description. It's Neil and Tristan, and they are a couple that go and they'll pick you up at one point and then drive you around and then drop you back off at your vehicle.
If you're going to do that, I would recommend doing it kind of early on in your stay, because then you're going to get to see where all the cool spots are that the animals like to hang out.
And then you get to go back.
And then you can go back on your own, or you can go show where your friends where they're at, or your family that's with you, things like that. So I think it would be really cool to kind of front load that so that the rest of the trip can you can see more animals.
Yeah.
Now we're going to keep heading south from there, and we're going to go into Colorado, where we're going to stop at Estes Park, and it's right outside of the Rocky Mountain National Park. And those two locations are just amazing. I don't know if you've caught on to the theme here, but we like the Rocky Mountains.
We like national parks too.
National parks and Rocky Mountains. It's beautiful out there.
We like views, and we like history, and we like animals, and we sort of combine them all together.
Estes Park is it's a nice little town. Put it up there in the Rocky Mountains. It's a little over 7,000 feet in elevation. Obviously, with that much elevation, you got to kind of time it right. If you can time it right, it's absolutely beautiful. The town is amazing. You can spend weeks in there just exploring the town itself.
Yes.
And then you can spend even more time going into Rocky Mountain National Park. Now, Rocky Mountain National Park is a little bit different because it's not quite as big as the Grand Tetons or Yellowstone, and there's no grizzlies. It really doesn't have any natural predators, so the elk are just kind of running rampant, and they're like the mascot of the town.
so cool though, because like they're literally everywhere, and they make this. We went during.
They do the rut call.
We went during the rut, so we got to hear the male elk doing their calls.
It's like a Slurpee straw.
It sounds like the straw that you can like twirl and make that sound.
They are just as prevalent in the park as they are outside of the park.
Yes.
They're just everywhere up there.
I will say that on top of it being beautiful up there, it's also like the highest elevation national park visitor center in the country.
You're in the tundra.
So you're up in the tundra where the trees don't really grow. And we got to see the marmots and the pika. And those are really cool to see, but you see them more up in the tundra than you do down in the like Estes Park area. But it's just really cool to see them up there. And then the hikes up there were amazing, but windy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, up there in the tundra, it's...
So we ended up buying...
And it's cold because it was like 75 degrees at our campsite, and like 40-something up there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one day there was snow up on the mountain, and we didn't have any at the campsite. But, so tons of things to do while you're there. I will say one of the cons to Rocky Mountain National Park is you have to have a timed ticket entry to the park, but then you also have to have a timed entry ticket to certain areas of the park. So we wanted to go do this amazing hike that we heard about, and we just couldn't get in.
And then we finally get up there, and we're turned away because there's no parking when we see parking. So I don't know what was going on that day, but...
Yeah, because there was like, we could visually see 5 parking spaces, but they turned us around and told us we weren't allowed to park because there was no spaces.
Maybe it was because we were in the dually. I don't know. But otherwise, you can drive down a little bit further, and there's a shuttle that will take you up. But at that point, we were just kind of deflated and didn't go. That's
one of my cons, is it is such a busy park that you have to make multiple plans because one's going to fall through.
Yep. Our next stop is still in Colorado. It's in Uray. And if you've never been to Uray, they call it the Switzerland of America.
And while you're there, one of the coolest things to do is drive the $1 Million Highway.
Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. Do not take the RV down there, especially if you're just starting out. I would not take my RV down that road. I did see other people doing it.
We did see 18-wheelers doing it.
No way.
Like, it's not for the faint of heart with driving skills. Like, no.
Uray is a quaint little town. It takes about 10 seconds to drive through it. But it is beautiful, has a lot of shops, has a lot of restaurants, great burgers while we were down there.
It has a hot spring pool.
Hot spring pool, which was really cool.
It has waterfalls. It has the river running through it. If you go during the melt season, the rivers flow faster because of all the water melting from the snow, which was pretty cool. You can do in the wintertime, you can actually, they have ice climbing walls where they spray these misters on the side of this cliff, this like ravine, and do ice climbing competitions. Yeah, and they actually have a competition that's every year. Yeah. So like the shops even have like the picks and stuff, and so we were looking at them. Those things were amazing. Yep. The whole little town is quaint. We went to a Mexican restaurant. We went to a burger restaurant. We did the drive around there. We got to see our first moose when we were in Uray. We hadn't ever seen a moose in the wild before. A black moose. Yep. So we got to see that. So there's plenty of things to do in that area on top of like the spas and the like shopping and things. Lots to do. But lots to do. Yep. You can soak in the hot springs there. It's more like a pool. Like reminded me of like a YMCA. Yeah. So we didn't do it, but totally can do it. And then we drove from Uray to Silverton. Yes. And had amazing beats in Silverton. It's the $1 Million Highway, just taking you south from Uray, and then drove back. Which going there is like completely different views than coming back. It's just amazing. You can see waterfalls that you didn't see on the way there, going the opposite direction because of the way the mountain is facing. I will also say we do not have a Jeep or anything that can climb overland trails, but if you're in Uray, there are some amazing trailheads for you to do in your Jeeps or Broncos or whatever that you own that you like to go off-roading in. And then a lot of your stores in Silverton sell the stickers that you can put on your Jeep to say that you completed this pass or this trailhead. Yep. It is very busy. It's a very busy town. And you're just going to have to be patient when you go. There are plenty of parking though. Like there's
Yeah.
street parking and then also parking lots that you can park on. And so it wasn't really hard, even in the dually, it wasn't really hard to get around. Number 7 is Bryce Canyon National Park.
Yep, we're heading over to Utah.
So with Bryce Canyon, one of the most unique features of Bryce Canyon is the hoodoos.
The hoodoos, it's like a city. The first time you see it is just unreal.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And then if you go like during golden hour, like the whole mountainside lights up from the sun. And then there's plenty of hiking trails that go along the top of the hoodoos. For sunrise and sunset, there's different points that you can go hiking to, and they're like paved, so it's not even where it's
They're not bad.
strenuous.
Yeah.
But then if you want to go down in the hoodoos like we did,
We did the Navajo Loop
Yeah.
trail, and
someone told us to do it backwards.
yep, I mean it was good because there's one place, this one area called Wall Street, and it's just like
Zigzags.
zigzag all the way down, and I'm so glad we did that going down.
Yeah.
Although it was just as strenuous going up, there just wasn't as many zigzags.
It's not as many, and you're already tired because you did the whole other part of the hike.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters which direction you go. You're going to be strained at the end of it, regardless, because of
Beautiful hike though.
the conditions. But it is gorgeous. But we ended up buying our water bags to have plenty of water out there. So make sure you're well equipped with plenty of water when you're hiking there, because it is just dirt and
Dry.
just dry conditions. So you're going to want to make sure you stay hydrated. And then we made sure we had plenty of like the Cliff Bars and stuff for protein, because we weren't sure if it was going to take us an hour or 12. If you go into Bryce Canyon, you can drive the entire outside loop of the canyon.
Yeah, it's just like one road out and back.
Yep, and if you do that at the very end, you can see multiple states from that peak, which was pretty cool. And then we did that and just stopped along the way and took pictures and got to see different formations and things like that. So.
And the visitor center was super busy.
Yeah.
It was so busy. And it's a busy season. There's not a lot else to do around that area other than hiking and jeeping and stuff like that. But for Bryce Canyon itself, you're going out there for the views and the hikes.
Yep. There's a strip of stores on the way into Bryce Canyon where that's like a little grocery store, and that's where we bought our electrolytes and things to replenish with. But across the street is an ice cream parlor as well. And then there's also a rodeo. So
that was pretty cool.
So they do rodeos there periodically. And then we also hiked on the outside of the national park and went to see a waterfall.
Another con to that area, or something to think about, would be it can be chilly even in the summertime because it's a higher elevation. So as you're out west, if you've never been out that way, just make sure you're dressing or have something for you in case it gets a little chilly. All right, our last place that we're going to stop is still in Utah, and this was our absolute favorite hike of all time, and it was Zion National Park, hiking the Narrows.
Yes.
You got to do it. You got to do it at least once.
The kids loved it. We loved it. There are some warnings of doing it. Make sure you have proper footwear. You do not want to try to hike in the water with shoes that are going to like be slipping off your feet. So I would not recommend using like normal tennis shoes or flip-flops.
People will tell you that you can do it with normal shoes or sandals or whatever. But if you can, go rent the neoprene socks and the boots and the walking stick. It is so worth it.
It's so much better to have those. It doesn't really stop it from being cold. It's going to be cold.
Right.
So it doesn't stop it from being cold, but it stops your feet from getting those blisters and the sores.
You're not like rubbing, your feet aren't rubbing the shoe the whole time you're walking.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth it. But the company that rents those out is super friendly, and they make sure everything is clean and sanitized before they rent them to the next person.
Yeah, it was great. Like Zion had amazing views, and that hike was just amazing. Now, we thought we were going to get there super early and kind of avoid the rush. And when we got to the shuttle at 6 in the morning, it looked like a line for Disney. So just know you're going to be waiting a little bit for your shuttle. And then it's a nice little shuttle ride out there because you can't drive to the Narrows, and you're gonna have a lot of other hikers out there with you. So just keep that in mind, but it's still worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And then another con on top of the people would be that if you're coming in from one direction, you have to go through the tunnel, and the tunnel's not open for dualies
after like 5 p.m.
Yeah, it's certain times, and so we went through it when the tunnel was open, but we couldn't go back out that same way. So we ended up having to take the long way
drive back around
to where our campground was because we couldn't get back through the tunnel.
We stayed at the Dark Sky Campground in Kanab, Utah, and it was a cool little town, and it was a great place to stay.
Yes.
It was really nice.
The campground's amazing.
Campground was really nice in the middle of nowhere, but it's pretty.
The owners of the campground do potlucks, or not potlucks, but like a dinner for
community dinner
periodically for the people that are staying. So that was pretty cool. Then you also have jeeping trails and hiking trails and all of that to see from that campground. And then Horseshoe Bend is maybe 2 hours away?
We went to Horseshoe Bend. We went to the northern side of the Grand Canyon while we were there.
Yep. And then we drove into Zion twice while we were there. So there's plenty to do from that central location.
Those are 8 places you need to add to your list if you're going west, or if you're on the west coast and you're coming east, and make that stop.
Yeah. And then if you've already been to any of these locations that we mentioned, let us know what your favorite part is. And if there's something we haven't mentioned in those areas, let us know, because we do plan on going back. So I'd love to have like an idea of checklists of things to do when we go back if we missed something. So
as you're traveling around the country and you're going to these national parks, one of the things that we would say was really cool to have was an app called Park Wolf, and that's on your iPhone. And what it does is it uses your location to basically know what park you're in, and then it starts reading you off facts of that park as you get to the different areas. So it's basically narrating your drive. It's like a guided tour. Yeah. But coming from your phone, or like for us, CarPlay coming through our speakers. Yeah, and so it was really neat because like as we were driving, it was saying, there's picnic area up on your right, and then they would talk about the history of that spot. It is a really good app to have, and then to accompany that, also download the National Park app, because you can also figure out like the time entry things and the passes that you need all from that app as well, so that you don't have to guess on which parks you can get into just by driving versus needing a ticket. Oh, and get America the Beautiful pass, because you're going to spend it on all these national parks. Yep, cool. All right, well, hopefully this was informative and helps you out as you're planning your trip. Yep. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, make sure you subscribe. And please ring the bell so you get notified when we release our next video, and consider becoming a patron on Patreon if you haven't already. Till the next strange adventure. Keep making your own.